Kia ora, whakalofa lahi atu, and welcome back to this week's IG Live. I'm so excited to get into it. I actually have Facebook running at the same time. I hope it is working on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, say hey. And I hope that the squareness of it is okay. But I thought I would try and do both. So thank you so much for being here this week. This week's question is, I know I want to change, but where do I start? And let me know in the comments if you feel the same way, if you know that you want change in your life, but you don't know where to start in life. Hey girlfriend, welcome. And my first question when it comes to this, it's like, you know that you want to change, you don't know where to start. I'm like, what's stopping you? You know, there's got to be something that comes up whenever you think about, you know, making changes or anything like that. There's got to be something that comes up that's stopping you at the moment. And I actually went through it. I was like, you know what, I'm going to write down things that I've felt in the past, that have stopped me in the past, that have stopped my clients that I've worked with before, that I've heard have stopped other people. And I'm going to lay it all out. And if you feel like when I read these out, or if there's something right now you have on the top of your mind that you're like, I know what's stopping me, pop it in the comments. But you know, the fear of being like the unknown, right? You don't know what's around the corner. You don't know what's, you know, going to happen if you create this change, right? And that's so normal. It's like, why would you? You know, you don't know what's going to happen. And one thing that I always do is like, I do my research on it. You know, I will research and try to learn about, you know, whatever that thing is. So if it's like you want to step into a new career, you know, you're currently at a job that you don't like and you know that you want to start this new career. It's like, I'm going to go look up online, you know, how to get my foot in the door, how to go and study for this thing, how to get that job, you know, that dream job, you know. So researching and learning, because it takes that, the fear of like not knowing. It's like, you know a little bit now, you're starting to know certain things. And I think even seeking inspiration, like finding somebody who's done it before, because that also helps you know that it's doable, that someone's done it before. If they've done it, then I can do it as well, right? So that kind of takes out that fear of unknown. There's the comfort zone and the safety. A lot of people just, you know, they don't want to feel uncomfortable, and jumping out of your comfort zone, creating change, you know, it's uncomfortable. That shit feels weird. And I think once you keep doing it, it's like it becomes it becomes normal. So you do it so much, you know, the first time you ever do something, of course it feels really weird, you know, your emotions are wild or high or whatever, it feels really, really scary. But the more you keep doing it, it's like that pressure, you know, that scariness gets less and less and less, right? So welcoming that uncomfortability, and unfortunately I can't take that uncomfort away, like that discomfort. It's a part of getting to the next level, and that's why a lot of people don't go to the next level, right? Because they don't want to feel that discomfort. There's also the lack of clarity, right? So you really need to get clear on what you actually want. You know, is it a new job? What in your life do you want to change right now? Is it the new job? Is it a new partner? Is it a new house? Is it a whole new country? Is it yourself, your personality? You know, you might be shy, but now you want to show up as your fully expressed self, which is something totally different to what other people know you as. So what is it? What do you actually want to change? What do you actually want in life? So really, really getting clear on what that is. And a lot of people have resistance to change in general, so there might be some unpacking to do. Why do you have that resistance in the first place? Like, what is it? Lack of motivation is also, you know, another one, right? It takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of commitment to do something different, right? So you're lacking that motivation, and unfortunately, like, nobody can give that to you. Like, it's a part of stepping up and going to that next level, right? You need to put in a lot of effort. You need to put in a lot of commitment. So what I do, I always weigh it up. Would you rather stay in the job that you hate, and the life that you hate, and the house that you hate, driving that shitty car or whatever it is, right? Would you rather stay there, or would you rather, you know, put in more effort and more commitment and go for that bigger thing. And also, like, you know, living a shitty life is actually a lot of effort, right? You know, there's a lot of effort, a lot of stress, a lot of negativity, the dwelling that kind of goes into, you know, living an unmotivated life, right? So there is effort that goes into there. And that's the same with hard work. You know, getting out of your comfort zone, change is hard work, but it's also hard work to live a shitty life, you know, to live a life that you freaking hate, right? So choose your hard, choose what you want to do there, right? There's external factors, you know, there might be financial constraints, lack of resources, unsupportive environments, self-sabotage. So with those things, it's like, get resourceful, right? What are other ways that you can make money? You know, is there you can get a new job, you can get a different job, you know, what ways can you make money? How can you get resources? There's so much stuff online, YouTube, all the things, TikTok, and I get all my resources and stuff like that. I learn so much off TikTok and YouTube, right? So get resourceful, right? Be about it, like make it happen, do something, right? Unsupportive environments, you know, stop hanging out with those friends, find new friends, go to networking events, go to, you know, different spaces. You know, where do the people that you want to hang out with, where do they hang out with, or where do they hang out with, where do they hang out? And then go to those spaces, you know, make new friends, get out of those environments with the unsupportive people, right? Self-sabotage, you know, you might need to do some work on those. There might be underlying beliefs, right? Negative self-perception. There might be, you know, a lot of work you need to go with those negative limiting beliefs. Get professional help, you know, life coach, therapist, all the things, right? Get help there, become resourceful. Even stuff online you can find nowadays if you don't have the money, you know, there's lots of things online, different podcasts, different books, Audible, all the things, right? So become resourceful. And people don't make changes because they feel like they've failed in the past, right? And I say fail like this because those are lessons, right? Never a failure, always a lesson. But I see why it would stop you. You know, you feel like you failed in the past. So it's like, I don't want to go back out of my comfort zone. I look like an idiot before. You know, I didn't get my dream job or whatever it was before. You know, I didn't get my dream partner or whatever. So I don't want to do that again. You know, but it's not a failure. It's a lesson. You've learned something. Surely there was something that came out of that, right? You know, when I got fired from my dream job, oh, the lessons. If you want to listen to that podcast, there's a whole bunch of lessons in there that I learned, right? So take like lessons. Now I know to do things differently. I know not to do that. I know to do this. I know to, right? It's lessons. So don't let those failures and lessons stop you. It's like, you know now. Overwhelm. And I think it was my last IG live I did about how do I be more productive. I talk a bit about overwhelm in there as well. It's like we need these big audacious goals. We need to break them down into smaller goals so that we're not so overwhelmed. But also don't go future. You know, when people want to change, they're like, oh, you know, there's all these things in their life they want to change. So they start trying to change everything. Just one thing, one small step. You know, don't go so future into, oh, if I do this, then this will happen, then this. Just think about the next step and the next step only. You know, stay present. Just one step, right? Lack of support. You know, it's really important to have a support system around you that will hype you up, that will help you get to that next level, right? It's why spaces like I have the Vibe Tribe. I also have my coaching space, the Sisterhood, right? I've got different spaces. And I've got a beautiful partner, you know, I've got different spaces that I can go to for that support. So you need to find that for you. And if you don't have it, then it's, you know, finding these spaces, networking events, you know, reaching out to people, you know, paying to be a part of, you know, a group, you know, as a life coach and all those kinds of things, right? So really getting that support. Also, there's such a short-term focus, right? I think there's a lot of instant gratification, right? We want to do one thing and we want to reap all the rewards like right now. But a lot of things it takes time, right? If you think about, you know, you want to build muscle in the gym. It's like, how many times you got to go to the gym to start seeing a bit of muscle appear, right? So it's long term, you know, and a lot of people, myself included at times, we don't have patience, you know, for that long-term success. It's like, now we want it right now, and if we don't get it right now, then we're not going to do, you know, we're not going to keep doing it. We're not going to keep trying and keep going for it. So just have some patience in there. I feel like I'm listing out so many. If you can think of more reasons why you don't create change in your life, you know you want change, but you're not going for it. What's the reason why? What's stopping you? Another is your lifestyle and your habits, right? We're ingrained, we're programmed growing up, programmed into the things that we do now is a lot of, you know, what your parents or whoever raised you kind of brought you up doing. So you've just continued to do that, right? You've set your own lifestyle, you set your own habits every day, you know, it's ingrained into you. And then you start to think, oh, actually, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to, you know, keep staying at this 9 to 5. I don't believe that's the way to go anymore. I want to do something different, but it's hard to like break what you've done for like 30 years of your life to then go, actually, I want to change now. Like that's hard, right? It's ingrained in you. But just taking those small steps, right? Instead of trying to throw everything up in the air and like, I don't want to do any of this anymore. Just one thing, one step. You know, what's one thing that you can do different? And then also time constraints. I feel like that comes up a lot. I don't have time to make change. You know, I'm really bogged down with everything, you know, 9 to 5, you might have kids. You might be, you know, trying to work on your health and fitness, and you've got to cook and you've got to clean. Like there's so much going on, right? But it's prioritizing what's important. You know, is it important that you make this change? Is living your dream life important to you? Is living, you know, your dream job, having your dream partner, having your, you know, dream life, is it important to you? If it is, just 1 hour a day, 30 minutes a day, like those 1%ers will make a huge difference. Please don't tell me you don't have time, because I know you be scrolling social media for 4 hours a day. You know? Go look at your screen time right now, and whatever it is, just like, I'll take half of whatever your screen time is to go into, you know, whatever your dream life goal is. You know, if it's looking at a new job or studying something or whatever that looks like, right? And then probably my favorite is the fear of judgment. That goes back to, you know, you're ingrained in a certain way, right? But, you know, your family, your friends know you as this one person. You know, your whole life you've been this one person, and then one day you wake up, in their minds it's like you just wake up one day and you start being this totally different person, and they're like, what? Like, who is this girl? Who is this leash? You know, and they might start acting different or telling you changed or giving you some flack or whatever. It's like, wow, I woke up and I decided I don't want to live that way anymore, so I'm going to live this way now, right? And there might be conversations that you're going to have, like I know with Mets, there were a lot of conversations where I had to lay out like, I know I used to do this before, but I don't do that now. It's not something I believe now or something I want to do now, and stuff like that. But then there's also another side that's like, you don't need the validation. You don't need approval to do whatever you want to do, right? You don't need permission. Just start doing it. You know, when I was doing So Extra sunglasses, and then I decided that I was going to do life coaching, you know, so many people were asking me things like, how did you just do it? You know, was it hard? And I'm like, no, I don't need approval. Like, I didn't need somebody to tell me that I could or couldn't do that. Like, it's my life. It's what I wanted to do. It was my decision. So I just started doing it. And I think a lot of the time we're like, oh, wait, how do I tell this person? How do I, you know, get the permission from them, or get, the permission slip signed, or whatever it is, right? You don't need permission. Just do it. It's your life, right? They're not paying your bills. They're not living in your shoes. They're not doing your job every day that you hate. So do it. Do whatever you want to do, right? And then back yourself. Like, it doesn't have to make sense to everyone else. It has to make sense to you. If it makes sense to you, then do it and back yourself, right? Back yourself, get around your support system who will, you know, back you as well. But like overall, it's like you need to back yourself, right? You need to also be okay with, you know, adapting and adjusting. You know, you might try to do something and it might not work, and you might think you look like an idiot and like a failure. But it's lessons, right? You've learned something from it. You're not a failure. You're just going to adapt to it. You're going to adjust. You're going to change a few things. You're going to do a few things differently, and then go and do that and go next and pivot and change and all the things, after you learn something, change. Don't be so hard on yourself as well. Like, you don't have to get it right. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think about the first time I ever did an IG live. That shit was definitely not perfect. The first time I spoke in front of a bunch of people, it wasn't perfect. The first time I pitched my business idea, it wasn't perfect. The first time I sent my package for So Extra sunglasses, it wasn't perfect, right? Be okay with it being imperfect, because that's how you grow. And that's how you do better, and that's how you build your confidence, and that's how you go to the next level and all the things, right? Having that self-compassion for yourself as well. You're doing the best that you can every day. Even deciding to make a change, that's huge. Being like, actually, I don't want to do this job anymore. I'm going to try something different. That's huge. Pat on the back, Leash. Like, well done. Like, go you for doing that. Go you for not worrying and not caring what other people think, and doing you and having your best interests at heart, right? So really having that self-compassion, for yourself, and celebrating that progress, even if it's one thing. Wow, tomorrow or yesterday, I showed up confidently in front of my friends, and I showed up confidently in front of my family. I showed up as my adult self. I was talking to one of my clients today. She said that she keeps referring, in spaces with her family, she's that kid self. It's like, no, I'm going to show up as my adult self, and I'm going to be me as an adult, and all the things, fully expressed. I don't care whether it's your mom or your dad and they know you as a certain way. I'm going to be my fully expressed self, right? So yeah, celebrating your progress, celebrating those small things, even deciding to change. Over the next few days, there might be one instance where you speak up for yourself. There might be another instance when you go online and you type in how to start a business or whatever business it is. There might be another instance where you go into work and you say, you know what, I want a pay rise, or I deserve a pay rise, or I don't want to work here anymore, I want to cut down my hours, all the things, right? So celebrating those small things, and I say small, but nothing small. Please celebrate everything like it's the biggest achievement you've ever done, because we don't give ourselves enough credit. But I think that's it, y'all. I have been talking a whole bunch. That's how you create change, and where to start. And I think starting is figuring out what's stopping you and literally pulling it apart. And if it's caring what other people think, why do I care what other people think? Why is my mum's opinion so important to me? Why do it, I don't want to look like a failure. Why do I think that I'm a failure? Why can't I look at it like a lesson? But I don't think highly of myself, but I doubt myself. Why do I doubt myself? Oh, it's because in childhood somebody told me this, or because my mom always took shit to me every day and told me I amounted to nothing. Whatever it is, right? Really deep, but also we got to go there, because it's the difference between you living a life that you absolutely hate to living a life that you absolutely love. So you got to do the damn thing. Wow, this was 18 minutes long, y'all. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching. Sela, my sister's here, Dina, W. Malcorny, I feel like. Thank you for being here. Tay, thanks for being here, sis. Ka kite, koe kia.